Alright folks, welcome to another Let's Watch / Talk where we check out the news trailer for movie coming short, and today we have the official trailer for Alien Earth. So let's go ahead and check it out together and we'll talk about it after. Let's go.
How's our girl?
She's ready.
You're gonna be the first person to transition from a human body to a synthetic.
Because I'm special.
That's right. You're very special.
We have a downed spacecraft.
I want what's on that ship.
We can do it. We're fast. We're strong. We don't break.
It's like a zoo, but the animals got out.
This ship collected 5 different life forms from the darkest corners of the universe. Monsters.
Invasive species. Predatory.
If we don't lock them down, it will be too late.
There we have it, guys. That is the official trailer for Alien Earth, which releases tomorrow, at least the first episode. And I gotta say, overall, the plot and what seems to be the plot here, it's looking very interesting for sure. I like it. I'm curious to see what will happen at the end. I want to go ahead and say perhaps the number one and the species that will win from the 5 different species or the 5 different monsters, right? That apparently are really, I don't want to say monstrous, but just dangerous, right? That ship was containing. I would say the xenomorph has to be number 1 for sure. I think the xenomorph has to be. I mean, the other ones will be dangerous and will most likely have their own episode throughout the 8 or 10 episodes, whatever the number is for this show. I think definitely the xenomorph will be the most dangerous out of all of them. That's just my take on it. And of course the city and that leader, the young guy seems to be the leader. He really wants to study and obtain these species, right? Which they do, and they take from the ship. But I think that's where it's all going to go down. And especially they're going to see how crazy those other species and those other monsters are, those other aliens, right? And of course here, this scene right here is gonna be pretty deadly, because if you guys know anything about a xenomorph, especially with their saliva, specifically, as you can see it and the drool going down from its mouth, yeah, it sucks to be that guy or that person within the proximity of that saliva, or at least that close. As you can see the xenomorph on top of the body. That's definitely going to be a scene to see. But now we're going to talk about the premise and the characters / actors, the cast, right, in this show. But like I said, for me, it's looking pretty damn good. I like it. I like the premise, and I'm very hooked on when this takes place, because the whole Alien franchise has gotten a revival recently. Especially, we just had Alien Romulus recently. That's being the most recent thing. And if you go to the other franchise, which was shared years ago in Alien vs. Predator, we had the Predator side, which most recently had their animated film. And before that was Prey, which was a live action film also on Hulu. And now they're going to get a full-length film a new film. So that's great. That's also being revived. But on the Alien side, we had Alien Romulus. Now we have the show. And I'm curious if they're going to have another movie after this. I know they're not connected like this and the other film. But, of course, it's still featuring the Xenomorph or a Xenomorph. And what's cool about this, moving on to the premise of this show, because it's a show, guys. It's not a movie. This takes place 2 years before the original Alien film with Sigourney Weaver. So that's pretty cool. I wonder if there'll be any nod to that or just anything connected with that at the end or just a scene or something. But I'm just throwing the fact that this will take place 2 years before that event or the events of the first film, the original film. And the premise of this show is when the space vessel Magnaut crash lands on Earth, a young woman and ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's biggest threat. Another thing I gotta say is the fact the locations and the scenery of a lot of these shots that we got to see definitely remind me of the shots from that planet that what was it called? Alien Covenant visited, especially the characters in that film, which I really enjoyed. That's one thing I really love about the Alien movies, or at least I loved about Prometheus and Alien Covenant, is just the locations and the visuals and just everything, the wide shots and the way they shot the film, just really, really good. And just the sci-fi aspect, I would say, especially because these movies take place in the future, and it's what, like 2120, or you know what I mean? It's way into the future. And so seeing all these crazy planets in the other films, not this one, but in the other films, so I just really like that. I just really get sucked in, if you will. And now moving on to this show, it's gonna have good moments, or just good scenes, good locations, especially with the forests and the landscapes that this Earth, I guess, this planet will have, will definitely be cool to see. So we have a good amount of cast members here, and one that I just saw very briefly, very briefly, which I'm a fan of, is Timothy Olyphant. So great to see him in the show. I feel like he's gonna have a pretty good / important part. I mean, he definitely seems like one of the characters that will be smart, because that young guy that wants to take him in and take in the creatures and took in the creatures, right? I don't think he's that smart. I feel like he's kind of like a Weyland-Yutani type of character that just wants to know more about the species and to study them and to figure out and test on them and see what they're all about. And I mean, if you're gonna do that, problems will happen. But moving on to the cast, like I said, we have, and how can I forget to mention I guess you could say the main character, but that girl that moves her consciousness from her body because she's sick, or maybe she's dying, into the synthetic, and that being like a first type of hybrid there from the two. That's going to be very interesting as well. I wonder how that's going to work in this whole show. And of course she's going to have I don't want to say multiple chances there in living, but there could be moments where she gets hurt, she gets something cut off or something, but she's a synthetic, right? So she can always come back and just transfer consciousness to another body, perhaps. So here we have Sydney Chandler as Wendy, the first hybrid and CJ's sister. Okay, we have Timothy Olyphant as Kirsch, which is Wendy's synthetic mentor and trainer. Cool. So that's going to be a damn good character to learn and to see that character help out Wendy. We also have Alex Lothar as CJ, quote-unquote hermit, a human soldier and medic, which is the brother. We have Samuel Blanken, we have Essie Davis, Adarsh Gorav, we have Kit Young, David Rysdal, we have Babu Sise, am I saying that correctly? Jonathan Ajayi, Irana James, Lily Newmark, Diem Camille, and Adrian Edmondson. So that makes up the whole cast. I gotta say, I think the addition of the synthetics and seeing more synthetics in this one, that's also going to add a different feel to this show, or to just aliens in general, because we're used to seeing a group of humans and then like one synthetic. We're not used to seeing a lot of synthetics. So perhaps, I mean, aside from the game, if you guys know about the game, Alien Isolation, but going to now it being a show, then most likely we'll have, of course, the mentor. We'll have Wendy, of course, her consciousness being transferred, right? So that's the synthetic body already. So that's 2, and most likely we'll most likely see other synthetics wandering around, because this is a whole planet. There's the buildings, the multiple buildings around the city, and scientists perhaps in said building, or just this big corporation, this group of scientists, and could be using multiple synthetics throughout and spread out throughout different floors and different groups in said corporation. So we have all of that. So that's what I'm saying. There could be a lot of different synthetics wandering around. So that'd be definitely a first. And of course, we do have the soldiers wandering around, which will protect the group of people. And I'm just interested in her story, in Wendy's story, and we'll see how it gets fleshed out throughout the season and explains why, or just what happened to the, of course, original body, and how she became ill, or just she got sick, she's dying, and maybe that'll be an issue. Definitely being a first hybrid of her kind, of her transferring that consciousness from a real human body into a synthetic, and that never being a thing ever. So that could cause some problems. That could cause definitely some problems. Perhaps a synthetic could take over, maybe, or maybe the hybrid takes over. Maybe it's like a split personality, perhaps, of the robot side and the human side. That could be an issue. It could definitely be a struggle, if you will, for the character, and we'll see that over the course of the episodes with the other characters, and the relationship, how that could affect the relationship between the other characters, and especially this big guy, this CEO. Apparently Samuel Blanken is the young guy that we saw. He's the CEO of this Prodigy corporation that we saw in the city of Prodigy, right? So that's huge, and he's most likely going to be very greedy with learning and finding out more about said creatures. But I mean, I think there's different thoughts, of course, and different ways people think. I get that, but I think if you're just hold off for just a second and really think about it, do you not see this going a different route? Like, if you mess up, a slight mess up, or one of the monsters getting out could really cause some damage, because these are really, really serious monsters, aliens, creatures, species, what have you not. So, you gotta be very careful with this, or just don't even bother messing with these guys, with these things, these aliens. And so, going after that, guys, I'm curious if this whole city will go down. Perhaps this whole thing could be one big crazy trip, and at the end a lot of them will die, and maybe there'll be some soul survivors perhaps, and that's it. I mean, who knows where the show will go. I mean, I'm not too sure if they have announced if there'll be a second season, a continuation from this show into a second season, but at the same time, I mean, will it answer a lot of these questions? If it leaves a lot of unanswered questions for the character Wendy, or just for the result of all these species, and of course the culmination being the big xenomorph that we see right here, and just the attack of the xenomorph, or maybe even the capturing, or just the taking down of the xenomorph, perhaps. If we don't see none of that, we don't see a definite end, then for sure we'll get to see a second season in the future, maybe next year. But if the answers, all of our questions get answered for the character, and just we'll see a nice complete end to this, then I could just see this being like a one-off. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the show. Are you guys excited to see this? I mean, I like xenomorphs and just aliens in general. Like I said, I love the whole sci-fi aspect ever since seeing Alien. I love the Alien movies. I love the Predator movies. I love the clash that was Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, it doesn't matter to me. It's aliens, it's monsters, it's craziness, it's that sci-fi chaos that I love. I actually really love that stuff. So seeing seeing Aliens, the franchise, getting revived with the Alien Romulus and how great it was and how crazy, and seeing the nastiness of the aliens, the xenomorphs, and also the face huggers, and just a lot of the crazy moments apparently that happened in the film. And now moving on to this one, having its moments and hopefully being really good right after the last episode. And also the revival of Predator with Prey. Prey was just so good. Go check out Prey, guys. If you guys have not seen Prey, pretty damn good film. I enjoyed it. I loved seeing it. I loved seeing that film when it first came out. Also, of course, they had that animated film that just came out not that long ago, which, just to kind of give you something there is a nod to the previous movie we just talked about. And also moving forward, there's a new film for Predator coming out soon. So a lot of good stuff coming out with these two. And could there be a potential future build-up where the directors and I guess you could say the companies, right, that are making these films, bring in a new version of Alien vs. Predator, perhaps that would be insane. It would be really, really cool as a film. I mean, I wouldn't want a show. I would want a film of Alien vs. Predator once again. But could that happen? Maybe, guys, in the future. But I definitely love all of that stuff, and just rewatching Alien vs. Predator, just rewatching the old Alien films and the old Predator films, even those. It's just really cool that we're getting these two back. And I know there's a lot of big horror fans and just sci-fi fans, especially, who love aliens, who love predators, the xenomorphs, of course, and the facehuggers, and just the sci-fi aspect of it all. You know, the ships and the sceneries and the locations and the planets and the whole lore that is like Weyland-Yutani, or just Weyland, the companies, the corporations, and just everything. Even what are they called? The engineers, and just so much there. There's so much there. And as one of the fans out there that love the movies and have seen all the movies, just, it's great. What I'm trying to say is that they're having a hell of a comeback, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it as a fan, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are excited that they're having to come back. So that's it, guys, for this Let's Watch Let's Talk. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. I'll be guys posted with the next set of trailers tomorrow, and there's gonna be a lot more coming, guys. A lot more movies, a lot more horror stuff coming out in the next couple months, because we are moving from August to September and October being spooky season. For sure there's gonna be a lot of other films. I think the weird one for me is Five Nights at Freddy's coming out in December. That's kind of a shocker, an odd moment to release that film, but hey, October is coming out very soon, and we're gonna get Halloween and a bunch of other crazy spooky stuff coming out. So stay tuned for more, guys. But yeah, that's it, guys. Take care, stay amazing. I'll see y'all with the next one.